I was going to add background music to this video, but my downloader is being stupid as usual, so just enjoy my voice for this video. Bored. Alex is bored, and Alex is saying bad words. Shut up. So I've played Forza for over a year now, and over that time I've created a bunch of paint schemes. And some of those paint schemes you haven't seen until now. So I've decided that I am going to make a series of videos, starting with this one, showing off every paint scheme that I've ever made in Forza Motorsport 6 and Forza Horizon 3. So, we are starting off with the paint schemes in Forza Motorsport 6, and the first one that I want to show is my most important paint scheme, well, one of my most important paint scheme of all paint schemes anyway, is my number 13 2013 Chevrolet SS NASCAR. The first paint scheme that I've ever made for a NASCAR, and it's mine, of course. I did recently make some enhancements to this paint scheme, but at the same time, it could be better, and it will be better soon enough, but I'm probably going to wait until Forza Motorsport 7 to make improvements on this paint scheme, but it's good enough for now. Moving on to the next 2013 paint scheme that I have, or number 13 paint scheme that I have, is a Donald Trump paint scheme. Yes, Donald Trump is one of my sponsors, and yes, I have written Make America Great Again on the car. Deal with it, Democrats. So, yes, I have made this paint scheme, and I based it off of Reed Sorensen's Donald Trump paint scheme that he drove in Texas in the fall of 2016. And, but obviously, this is my version of that scheme. Like, it's on a Chevrolet, and it's a number 13, and some of the Donald Trump related decals are slightly altered, but hey, it's mainly just an adaptation rather than a complete remake. So, overall, I'm very proud of this paint scheme, and it's definitely one of my best, and one of my favorites as well. Moving on to another number 13 Chevrolet paint scheme. This is the Bang Coaches Love paint scheme. Guys, we really need to show our love for Bang Coaches because he hasn't made a video for a while now. And this paint scheme honors Bang Coaches to, well, a certain level of Bang Coachesness. As you can see, it says Bang Coaches Love, because we, of course, like I said before, we need to show our love for Bang Coaches. And this paint scheme shows that love for Bang Coaches, and I'll need you to do it as well. This paint scheme, I'm quite proud of it. It's not my best, but hey, it's something. And it looks a lot like Bang Coaches himself. Like, as you can see, there's the whiteness running, you know, on the bottom of the car, because it's representing Bang Coaches' running board. And the top is black as well, which represents Bang Coaches' black roof and the coal in his tender. Moving on to the next paint scheme, another number 13 Chevrolet SS paint scheme. This is the Keeper of Porridge paint scheme. And this is the regular Keeper of Porridge paint scheme because Keeper of Porridge on the island of Soda is obviously a blue tank engine. And I have, as you can see, I have adapted that on this car right here with the red going on around the bottom of the car. And, of course, Keeper of Porridge. And, of course, this paint scheme is blue. Just like Thomas or Keeper of Porridge himself. Let's just say Keeper of Porridge, because Thomas is a completely different engine. Yeah. As you can see, there is some Front 13 on this car, but not much. And, of course, there's the Thomas and Friends logo on my hood. And you may notice that the word Friends is spelled wrong. I actually spelled it that way on purpose because, you know, Thomas and Friends is like my series because I couldn't come up with anything better for my Thomas and Friends series that I do sort of often on this channel. Next paint scheme is the Keeper of Porridge Doo-Doo Edition paint scheme. Yeah, this paint scheme is the exact same layout as the blue version of the Keeper of Porridge paint scheme. However, this is the Doo-Doo edition of that paint scheme. Because as you can see, the main part of it is, well, it's basically a bunch of weird colors. Now you're probably wondering, why does this paint scheme exist? Well, it all has to do with Keeper of Porridge's avatar that he has on his YouTube channel. And he still has that avatar on his YouTube channel. Yep. Speaking of Keeper of Porridge, too bad he stopped making YouTube poops, but at least he's still doing something in the world of YouTube, which is good to know. So Keeper of Porridge isn't completely gone forever. In fact, now he's known as Keeper of pork. And I might make a Keeper of Pork paint scheme in the future, but I'll probably do that I'll probably do that around Forza Motorsport 7 when that comes out. But it's just going to remain Keeper of Pork for Forza Motorsport 6. Next, another number 13, Forza 13 Chevrolet Toboggan Racing, of course. This is the Percy Serp paint scheme. Because Percy Serp, he's another engine on the island of Sodor. As you can see, I got a notification of my batteries being low. Just ignore that. And yeah, this paint scheme, because, Percy Serp, he's an engine on Sodor, and I figured that I would make a paint scheme representing Percy Serp. My voice just decided to crack and stuff. Of course, there's Percy Serp on the rear end, along with Vaseline and the number 13 on the sides as well. Just like any other number 13 Chevrolet Super Sport driven by me, that being Fronita Bobbin, because my name is Fronita Bobbin and you all know it. Yeah, so this paint scheme is basically the same format as the Keeper of Porch and Bank Coach's paint schemes, except, of course, the main part of it, this scheme is green, because Percy Serp is a green tank engine, if you haven't seen Thomas and Friends. And I recommend that you do see Thomas and Friends, the actual show, not my show, because, yeah, Thomas and Friends is for very young children, but, who really cares? On to the next paint scheme. Yep, it's another Forza 13 Chevrolet SS paint scheme. Deal with it. This one, however, is not a Thomas and Friends related paint scheme. Instead, this paint scheme is related to the Forza Motorsport 6 game itself, because of course this is the Forza Motorsport 6 paint scheme. And, well, since this thing is taking place in the world of Forza Motorsport 6, it only makes sense that I make my own Forza Motorsport 6 paint scheme. And of course, I have made one here. Obviously, this paint scheme made its debut a long time ago in my Forza Motorsport 6 NASCAR series that I did way back in August, September-ish, and, all those months. The videos are still up if you want to see them. In fact, they're in a complete playlist if you want to go back and watch every episode. But I don't know if you really want to, because honestly they're not the best videos that I've ever made. In fact, they're really up to standards of my NASCAR Heat Evolution videos that I make these days. So yeah, overall, the Forza Motorsport 6 paint scheme is quite a cool paint scheme. As you can see, I made it blue like the Ford GT, because Forza Motorsport 6, it only makes sense, right? Up next, yes, another Forza 13 Chevrolet SS. You get the idea by now. This one is the Turn 10 paint scheme, because, obviously this is another Forza-related paint scheme, and this one is, saluting the guys who made Forza Motorsport 6. That be Turn 10, yes. And speaking of Turn 10, I'm expecting Forza Motorsport 7 to be a step up in the Forza world. But, I don't know, maybe Forza Motorsport 7 will just be the same game as Forza 6, just with more cars and more tracks. But we'll find out. We'll find out. So overall, this paint scheme, it's black, because Turn 10, and, yeah. Yes, so, yeah, Turn 10 schemes, Turn 10 decals all over the car, of course, and as I'm recording this, I get a notification from something, but who really cares about that? Yes, so overall, pretty cool paint scheme. Yes, another Forza 13 Chevrolet paint scheme. This time, it's the Top Gear paint scheme. And yes, it does look a lot like the Turn 10 paint scheme, however, the Top Gear paint scheme has a slightly brighter shade of black. In fact, it kind of looks like a bit like a low brown color because it's in the sun, because this, of course, is at Sonoma. As you can see, Top Gear logos, because this is the Top Gear paint scheme. Looks very similar to the Turn 10 paint scheme, I know, but at the same time, Top Gear has a slightly brighter shade of black, I think. Yeah, so that might be an interesting comparison video for the future, or maybe you guys can just do that yourselves, but yeah, overall paint scheme, pretty cool paint scheme, and I'm quite proud of it. There's some dust on my iPad. Yeah, the words Forza 13, you can't really see them on the hood, but that's fine. I mean, this paint scheme was made back in summer 2016, so back then I wasn't the greatest at making paint schemes, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better at making paint schemes, but this Top Gear paint scheme can stay as it is. Yes, another Forza 13 Chevrolet. And this is another paint scheme that is related to the Thomas and Friends world. This is the Bioko Island Films paint scheme. And if you have not subscribed to Bioko Island Films on YouTube, go and do so now if you like Thomas and Friends YouTube poops. And the best part about Bioko Island Films is Thomas and Friends YouTube poops is that they are PG rated, unlike most Thomas and Friends YouTube poops, which are R rated these days. Anyway, so this paint scheme, pretty cool paint scheme, and on the back bumper, I figured instead of putting Bioko Island Films, how about I put making YouTube poop since 2011, because Bioko Island Films has been making YouTube poop since 2011, and, yeah, so that's interesting. So, Bioko Island Films, he's had a long history of making Thomas and Friends YouTube poops, and he still does to this day. So, like I said before, if you haven't subscribed to Bioko Island Films, go do so now. He makes some awesome Thomas and Friends YouTube poops, which I highly recommend. And of course, it has the black roof, because obviously Bioko Island Films has black on the top of him. Finally, a paint scheme that isn't a number 13 front 13 Chevrolet SS. Instead, this is the number 8 Moog suspension and steering paint scheme. I said that backwards, but whatever. This is a paint scheme that comes from NASCAR Heat Evolution. And as much as I dislike NASCAR Heat Evolution, I figured I would take the Moog paint scheme in that game and recreate it in Forza Motorsport 6. And it turned out pretty well, as you can see. That being said, not much effort has been put into this paint scheme, considering that the Moog paint scheme is very, very basic. Obviously, it's the number 8 Chevrolet, because, well, why wouldn't it be? Because that's what most people who signed into NASCAR Heat Evolution chose, a Chevrolet number 8. However, I went slightly differently, as I will get into later on in this video. Overall, this paint scheme that I've made here in Forza Motorsport 6 is very, very close to the version of NASCAR Heat Evolution, but it's not really identical. And now we have the number 0 Chevrolet SS, which is driven by Alex, my friend Alex, or as known as Derping Karato. And this is Alex's Purchaser paint scheme. Basically, this paint scheme is basically the same as my Purchaser paint scheme, except this paint scheme has less secondary sponsors. It obviously has the number 0, and it has dumb rookie stripes, because the rookie stripes, because Alex, he's a young rookie, and so the rookie stripes on his car make sense. Of course, I don't have those rookie stripes because I am a veteran driver, but Alex, he's a rookie, and he still has a lot to learn, and I mean a lot to learn. So this paint scheme will be driven by Alex in a future Forza Motorsport 6 video, and heck, maybe a live stream, but that's information for a future time. Yeah, so I sent this paint scheme over to Alex, and he quite likes it. Yeah, so one of these days, we're going to be the Purchaser buddies. Alrighty, time for another paint scheme. This is the Kevin Harvick number 4 Chevrolet Super Sport. And the reason that I made this paint scheme is to celebrate Kevin Harvick's win at the Fall Chase, New Hampshire race in 2016. And I explained, and I went more into detail why this paint scheme exists in its debut in my Forza 6 NASCAR series that I did back in summer of 2016. And this paint scheme, it's not, like I said in that video, it's not identical to the paint scheme that Kevin Harvick actually drove in New Hampshire, but hey, it's something. It has a number 4, it says Harvick, and one addition to this paint scheme is that I put on the chase implications. Like, as you can see, the nameplate above the windshield is yellow, which obviously replicates the chasteness that the cars have in the real world. However, they might look slightly different in 2017 due to Monster Energy being the sponsor, but we will see. We will see. Now, the final paint scheme in this video is the number 99 blank underfunded Ford Fusion, which is once again a replication from NASCAR Heat Evolution into Forza Motorsport 6. And this is actually the first ever paint scheme that I had in NASCAR Heat Evolution, because fun fact, when I first got NASCAR Heat Evolution, I chose to be the number 99 Ford, and I was the number 99 Ford for the first season in my career mode. But obviously that changed going into Season 2, and I'll explain why in a future video. Now, you just notice that the number 99 isn't on the roof like it should be, so yeah, maybe I'll fix that in a future time, but Unlikely. So guys, that is all the paint schemes that I have to show off for now. Eventually, I will show off more paint schemes in the future, obviously mine, etc, etc. Basically, there will be a part 2 of this video showing off more paint schemes that I've made over the history of me playing Forza. And yeah, but that's it for now. I will see you. Oh, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.